All right, we're live.
Hi, everybody. Good to see that everyone is here. I have been looking forward to this for quite a while. We're going to do a couple of quick intros and just jump right into baseball talk, pop fly, comic book talk, you name it. If you have a question you would like to get asked, send that into the comments and we'll do the best that we can. First, we have Daniel Horine, owner, creator, artist of Pop Fly Shop. Say hello.
Hey guys.
And of course, we have Dale Murphy, Atlanta Brave great, 7-time All Star, 5-time Gold Glove, 4-time Silver Slugger, one of only 31 players to have multiple MVPs. Dale Murphy, let's get right into it. Your statistics scream Hall of Fame to me. Why are you not in the Hall of Fame?
Oh, thank you, Evan, and hi, Daniel. Thanks
Hey.
for this. This will be fun. Looking forward to it. Well, thank you, Evan. I got a lot of people that are very, very supportive, but I knew when I retired. Well, first of all, you wait 5 years, before they start voting, because as soon as you retire, everybody says, "Oh, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer." So I think it's kind of good to have that kind of cooling off period, and everybody looks at your career, kind of matter of factly, I guess. You're removed from the game a little bit. Some of the hype of you being retired is over. So I agree with that. I think that's good. And so once that started, once the voting started, like I said, I've got people that are very supportive. I think I have some comparable players in the Hall of Fame, but I knew that it wasn't going to happen very quick. In fact, I think Bill James wrote somewhere, and this was about 8 years ago or 10 years ago. He said Murphy's going to go in when he's 74. So, or 72. I don't know. I got to look that up somewhere. So anyway, I knew that it wasn't going to happen really fast. And that it was going to take some time. What was I trying to say? Oh, so now then I knew I was going to go into the Veterans Committee, and then I'm very thankful for the Hall of Fame that it's changed the voting, that they've divided us into eras, and so every 2 to 3 years, but now with COVID, that may change a little bit. If you're fit into an era, you can get on that ballot more often than just being on the Veterans Committee. So bottom line is, thank you very much. I'll have another shot in a couple of years. And, I knew it was going to take a while, and just to have my name mentioned out there as someone who could get into the Hall of Fame, I'm very grateful. I mean, I realized that it's a tough place to get into, and that's good. And also I realized that the Hall of Fame has changed the way they vote now for guys in the 70s and 80s. And I think my era is called the modern game, I think. And so I'm very grateful for that. Alan Trammell's gone in as a result of the change and getting an opportunity. And there's been some other guys too that aren't coming to my mind right now. But anyway, Harold Baines. And so, I'm very thankful for the chance to be considered.
Now, after your era, it's been known by some as the steroid era. Do you think they devalued the home run, which negatively impacted your stats?
Well, that's an interesting question, because a lot of people's the guys that are really associated with the steroids aren't going in. So, it's what I mean? So people say, well, does it affect you? And they're not. It's going to take a long time if they go in. So I guess there's the comparison there is, if they were in and they went in really quickly, I would say, yeah, then obviously the numbers have really hurt my case. And, we didn't hit that many home runs as players during the 70s and 80s. And but it's taken a long time for them to go in. So it really, I don't think it's, I think psychologically sometimes the numbers look so big that, 398, doesn't look that big. And it isn't compared to some of the guys in there. Somebody asked me, I get asked all the time, if I had 400, would I be in? And I don't think so. I think I'd still be in the same situation. And so let's, we'll just have to wait and see on that.
Okay, well, I'm going to send this in right now to MLB on let me build my case for you, Dale. You have 308 home runs in the 80s, only shy to Mike Schmidt by a measly 5 home runs. If you take that and compare it to the 90s, 2000s, and 2010s, you're still in the top 10 for any decade. You hit more home runs in the 80s than Jose Canseco did in the 90s. You hit more home runs in the 80s than Mike Trout did in the 2010s. So let's throw out the guys not in the Hall due to character, okay? Like Shoeless Joe Jackson, Pete Rose, Barry Bonds, they're their own thing. You are the greatest player not in the Hall of Fame due to scandal. Is that something you can take a pride in?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm really thank you for bringing those stats up. Look, I didn't start out. My path to the major leagues was a little sketchy. So, I didn't think about the Hall of Fame till about 5 years ago. No, just kidding. But, it's just like I say, it's an honor to have played. The Braves gave me a shot, stuck with me when I was really struggling, changed positions. Bobby Cox got me to a new position. So, I just have so much to be thankful for that. I'll put it this way, Evan. If I had, you need 75%. If I had like 67% or was 15 votes shy, back when I was eligible on the regular ballot, I think, I'd be really frustrated. But, I never got that high. And I'm just thankful again that they've changed the voting to give me an extra shot.
Well, Dale, you're also one of only 2 players to be featured in a pop fly. You and Hank Aaron. So, Daniel, yes. What is a pop fly? How does it work? How do we buy them?
All right. Well, a pop fly is my weekly baseball series. Once a week, I do a baseball-themed piece of artwork, and it's on sale for 1 week. And when that week is over, that print run is locked, and the print is retired. And so you get it when you can get it, or you don't get it. And you can get those, if you see there on your top right of your screen, popflypopshop.com. Every Sunday ish, we have a new release.
And you're doing a Dale Murphy one right now. That's available?
Yep, right at this very moment. It's my second Dale Murphy piece since this pop fly vehicle started.
Are you able to show the first one that people can see what we're talking about here?
Well, I certainly can. It's right here.
So it's not a comic book. It is a comic book style art?
Correct. Yeah. Just it's a piece of art and mimicking the wonderful covers of the 80s.
Now, Dale Murphy, do you have any relationship with comic books, like as a kid, as a young adult?
As a kid, I read them occasionally. I was a Mad Magazine guy, which I guess is kind of a comic book, but the what you could consider the classic comics. No, I didn't really read them that much. I always appreciated the artwork, though. I think some of the artwork is just incredible. In fact, I've watched a lot of the Avenger and Marvel and a lot of those movies, and I wouldn't consider myself a big fan of them. I enjoy them, but I thought to myself, man, I might enjoy reading the comics and as much as the movies, because I guess that graphic style, those are big now too, a lot bigger than when I grew up. Graphic novels and things like that. I just think the artwork is incredible, and that's what, like when I saw Daniel and his idea, when he texted me his ideas, I was like, wow, that's incredible. I love it. And I don't know, I think there's just something to the old style of illustration, and the colors are so bold, which I think Daniel's really captured in all of his pop fly prints. And so it was so fun to be a part of it, the first one, and now the second one. I assume you got the second one up there, Daniel, somewhere?
I do. Let me show it real quick.
Yeah.
So, and that's available right now, yes?
Yes, popflypopshop.com, and it's available for about 2 more days. It retires on Sunday at 3 p.m. Pacific time.
Okay, I'm super excited to talk about this image and the inspiration behind it. I was 10 years old in 1989, and this is obviously inspired by the most sexiest baseball card set of all time, the 89 Upper Deck set. At the core of that set is the Ken Griffey Jr. rookie, but the number 2 chased card was this error card. Dale Murphy, can you tell us, when did you first hear about, hey, we made an error of you, it's still going to go out? What is the story behind that error card?
You know, I didn't know about it until it came out and someone told me. Probably someone had me sign one somewhere along the line. But I never got a heads up that, hey, we made an error card, in case you're wondering. So I can't remember, except sometime that year I think a fan just came up to me and said that hey, will you sign this, and and notice that it's reversed. And at first, you don't know. I think Daniel, I guess in the card I got my bat on my left shoulder and the A's reversed, and I don't know is there Braves across here or Atlanta?
It is. It's kind of obscured a bit, but you can see that it's backward.
Yeah, and so from then on, everybody has always asked me about it, and they said, "Oh, do you think they did it on purpose?" I don't think so. No one planned it. It's one of those things that I think happen. Like I said, you got to look kind of closely. If you go through it pretty quick, you're not going to notice.
Well, not every error card was worth anything at that time. It's just strange that card captivated the card community. Now, Daniel, if you're 10 at the time, I'm assuming you didn't have the cash to buy one. Did you endlessly chase it in packs?
Oh, you bet. I saw one of the comments. Jason Haggard said, I kept Upper Deck afloat trying to get this error card. Never succeeded. So I feel I own maybe 50% of stock in Upper Deck from all the money I spent as a kid. I didn't get that card until I was an adult. I think Evan, you got it for me when we were adults.
Hey, Daniel, you don't happen to have an image of what I did for you there a couple of years ago?
I'm going to find that. I'm going to see if I can find that.
Okay. I kind of sprung it on you.
So there's a Beckett story. Can you guys talk about it?
First of all, I want to talk about what Daniel just did with this pop fly print. Is obviously it's based on the reverse negative, and you hold it up to a mirror, and again it reverses. They both reverse back. I thought I was pretty clever the other day when I tried to retweet Daniel's tweet in reverse, and I don't think anyone noticed. So I don't know if it's still up there, but I just, with all of Daniel's work, I love all of them. I really love the Power Alley one, but again, I love Daniel's work and how he captures so many of the essence of the cards and of the player. And I love the George Brett one there, which I just saw for a second. But I just love Daniel's work. I think it's so unique and so much fun, and obviously people are really enjoying it as well.
Thanks,
and man. Featured on MLB The Show, correct? Or Hot Stove, correct, Daniel?
Yeah, I saw that. And you did a cover for them too, didn't you?
I did. They have it in their studio right now.
That's awesome.
Now, I read an article in Beckett. Remember Beckett? I used to take those to the card shows and look for the cards that had the arrows going up in value like a schmuck 10-year-old kid. There was an article in Beckett about you guys and that card signing it in a strange way. Daniel, can you recount that story for us?
Sure. I love collecting things that are off the beaten path. There's a ton of autographed baseballs that you can get from any variety of players online. I like to get things that you might only find one of, or things that you wouldn't expect. That's why I love collecting Murph, your stuff from the Rockies, just because there's not a ton of it. All these years later, it still seems very novel to see you in that Rockies. Yeah. But so I look for those things, and Dale hosts, except for 2020 because of COVID, Dale Murphy MVP Experience, which is super gracious to have folks come and dine with him and watch a game with him. DaleMurphy.com, by the way. Tickets are on sale for 2021.
Thank you.
So it was the night before I left, and I was trying to pack up and like, okay, what am I gonna do? What's unique? You know, I had a custom Rockies card made the year before. That's neat. But what can I do this year? And so I just started thinking of things, and I thought of the error card, and I thought, wouldn't that be interesting if I could ask Dale if he would sign it backwards, not backwards as in like the alphabet left to right, but literally a mirror image. So well, I took the card and I had got an image of your autograph, Dale, and I reversed it for you so that you would have something to look at, just to see what, because you probably never looked at your autograph backwards before. So I sprung it on Dale, and he said, "You mean ELAD, you know, back like Dale backwards?" Like, no, actually mirror image. So I had the reference for him, and he tried out on a couple on a scratch paper, trying it out a couple times, and then I think the third or fourth time he went for it on the card, and so super unique item there to have, and I treasure it mostly because of the story, and I posted it online shortly thereafter. So, looky what I got, and
yeah, it was fun. I did have to practice a little bit, but it was a lot of fun. I think we went right. We found a mirror, maybe in the bathroom, see what it looked like, and it turned out fun.
Yeah, it turned out great. Anyways, it caught the attention of a writer for Beckett, and so he contacted me, and the story happened from there.
But a lot of the backstory too of Daniel, how Dale Murphy was your childhood favorite athlete. Dale, is that weird to hear that this is an LA kid, and it's like in the heat of like Magic Johnson, Showtime Lakers, Fernando Mania, Wayne Gretzky at the Kings, and like this LA kid gravitates towards Dale Murphy on the Braves. How does that happen?
Well, I think I got to credit TBS first of all. Daniel's what we call a TBS kid.
Yeah, TBS kid. Yeah.
Yep, it happens. It happened all over the country, and really just by the fact that Ted Turner got the Braves on TV, and so much that we were in all the markets all the time. Daniel, I'm not sure. We might have been on TV more in that area than the Dodgers. I don't know. I mean, we were on every night basically, and so Daniel, I don't remember the story about the autograph. Share that one. I told you, but I mean, you told me a couple of years ago, but go through that again. That was kind of funny.
Sure. This is my. I've been on a couple podcasts and interviews, and they say, "What's your favorite sports moment?" And I say, "Well, this moment has nothing to do with sports in general, but it has everything to do with my experience with it." But the only way I got to see the Braves play live was when I went to a Dodger game, and my dad got tickets to see Dodgers versus the Braves, and I remember it was my first time getting to see you play. I'd watched you on TBS. Literally, I would be in my living room. If you're on second base or third base, the camera cuts to you. I'm just there in my living room doing whatever you're doing, leading off or whatever. So it was really exciting for me to see you play in person. And I brought a stack of cards, maybe this thick. I don't know what I was expecting, Dale. If you're gonna sit there and sit next to me during the game and sign them all, but brought the stack of cards. And I'm sitting at my seats on field level. I look over on the right side dugout. There's number 3 signing. So I hustle to the other side of the stadium with my stack of cards. I'm so excited. I'm elated. And there's a swarm of children gathering around Dale, trying to get his autograph. And I'm in the swarm, making my way towards Dale. And it's finally my turn. And I have my cards and my pen out, and Dale says verbatim, "Sorry, kids, got to go get ready for the game." And he doesn't sign my cards, and so I cried. I cried the rest of the game. I went back to my seat and I made my mom cry because she was so sad. So that was that. Then you went from obviously the Phillies to the Rockies, and my parents got tickets to see Dodgers versus Rockies. I think this is my first time seeing you since that game. So my dad was really great about taking me to the game early so I can catch batting practice and try to get any autographs that I could. I was hanging out in the left field level, and someone hits a ball during batting practice into the stands, and I got it. That was first and only time ever. And I run back to my parents' seat. I said, "Look, Mom, I caught this ball. I can't believe it." And so as I'm telling him the story, I look over. They're in purple and black now on the right side dugout. There's number 3, same place as before. So I ran over there with my newly caught ball and a pen, and swarm of kids, get it signed. And I float back to my seat because I'm elated because Dale Murphy has now signed my ball that I had just caught 10 minutes before. Watched the game, and thrilled to watch the game. And I would check the box scores every day. So the next morning I don't remember how you did that night, Murph, but the next game after that I didn't go to it, but I would always check the box scores to see how you did. And I noticed that you weren't in the lineup the next game. And then the next game you weren't in the lineup. Maybe 3 or 4 games in the lineup you weren't there. And then that same week, in the headline in our newspaper, Dale Murphy retires. So just by random luck, I'll call it, I got to see your last professional at bat, catch a foul ball, and get you to sign it. See your last at bat. I don't know if you knew it at the time, but I sure did.
Yeah.
Your last at bat.
I'm glad I finally caught up to you and got the autograph to you. And I just want to say it's been so fun to connect with you since retiring. And what was I going to say? And I want to say too, Nancy and I have had Daniel do some things for us for the MVP experience that has been a lot of fun. He's also made some stickers and a card game, and so we've just really enjoyed working with Daniel. We really have.
Thanks,
Mark. What's that website, Dale, that fans can look for some of that merch?
Well, just DaleMurphy.com. We in fact, Nancy and I have talked to Daniel quite a bit about doing some more merchandise. So if you go to DaleMurphy.com, you can find out about our MVP experience, which we have some scheduled this year, and we're going to kind of play it by ear. But you can sign up, and like last year we had to cancel, and it was rough. So hopefully this year we can have them. It's a lot of fun. Nancy and I really enjoy it. We have dinner, lunch at Murph's. We have a tour of the ballpark, the new Truist Ballpark, the home of the Braves, and have lunch at Murph's and have a lot of photo ops and have a lot of fun. And then we've really enjoyed taking the game in the Home Depot clubhouse, which is, just Google that at Truist Park, and it's been a lot of fun. So we really appreciate it. And of course, Daniel, hopefully we'll have you at one of our MVP experiences this year as well.
I can't wait.
Maybe you can sign some pop flies at that experience. Yeah,
absolutely. We'll see. I hope people got it. How many did you end up selling? Do you remember, Daniel? The first one. The
first one was 162.
That's awesome. Hey, and tell everyone about Mike Trout. How many did you sell of Mike Trout? I couldn't remember.
Mike Trout was over 400, but Hank Aaron beat Mike Trout.
Oh, and I love that one. Is that the Hammer of the Gods?
So good.
Yeah.
Oh, that is a beautiful piece. I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'd love to ask you guys some thoughts on modern day baseball, if that's okay. Let's start off with the Braves. I have the obvious top 8 Braves of all time, right? We got Hank Aaron, Maddox, Glavine, Smoltz, Chipper, Murphy, Spahn, and Eddie Matthews. There's two spots left for the top 10 Braves of all time. Is Freddie Freeman in that group?
Wow. I'd have to. Did you mention Phil Niekro?
So we got what? McGriff, Niekro, Justice. Does Freeman crack that top 10?
I don't know why. I think he's on pace, as far as I'm concerned, and a lot of other people, to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. I mean, he's just doing some incredible things. Won the MVP last year. And people can say, well, it was kind of a weird year, but of all the guys I've talked to that were involved last year, they said it was an incredibly challenging year to play with all that they had to do. And so, I think there's more MVPs in the future for him. He's a great fielding first baseman and a clutch hitter. And absolutely, there's no question he fits there.
We've got some comments putting Bob Horner in there as well. So someone's got to go. Niekro, Horner, or Freeman. One of those has got to go. I'm not making that choice.
I don't know. If I'm commissioner, I'm making it a top 12.
Well, Acuna's not far behind.
Or number 10, A, B, and C, or something, because that's a tough one. People ask me about playing with Bob too, and I'll just say he's the best hitter that I ever played with. Ended up having some injuries, but the guy could really hit. I mean, he hit 4 home runs in a game, and at that time, I think he was only the 11th or 12th player in the history of the game to do it. So I really enjoyed playing with Bob. Obviously, we were together in the lineup. That really helped me out a lot.
Andrew Jones is another name that just came up that we didn't mention. Braves, it's a lot easier to do that on the Rays or another team.
I think Andrew's going to be in the Hall of Fame. His percentage is climbing every year. 11 Gold Gloves, over 400 home runs. I think Andrew's going to be in the Hall of Fame.
What about as a former catcher, Murphy? What's your thoughts on the change in catcher collision rules at the plate?
I understand it. I think the catchers, especially on the collisions, when I was catching, I had a few collisions, and it's kind of like getting blindsided on a punt. You can't call a fair catch and have that guy, not run into you. Back in the old days, and I got hit pretty hard, especially in the minor leagues. It is kind of getting blindsided, especially if a guy's rounding third and the throw's coming in from right field. You can't see it. You're not facing him. If the throw's coming from left field, you can kind of prepare for it a little bit. But I thought the change of taking guys out at second, personally, was probably a little extreme. I know we had some players really get hurt, but I think taking guys out at second, taking the second baseman out and the shortstop out, I still wish there was a little contact there, and leave it up to the judgment of the umpires, because now I don't think you can make any contact, and I just don't think there's a lot of I think if you compare players that played during the era, like I played with Glenn Hubbard, every night almost those guys were getting taken out, and it's really hard to compare. I like to, as much as we can in baseball, be able to compare eras. And when you take out the fact that there's no contact at second base, it's really hard to compare how good a second baseman is and a shortstop when they're turning a double play. Just think of some of the guys. I always think of Dave Parker, a big guy that can run, and you were always taught, if you got a shot at taking the shortstop or second baseman out, you do it. And especially with a guy on second who could score if you break it up, or a guy on third if there's one out, whatever. And so I would like to see a little more contact at the professional level. I'm okay with college and high school, no contact.
Yeah, that was an art form, right? For the shortstop to jump over the runner coming in, someone like Ozzie Smith, DJ, who you've done, Omar Vizquel, Daniel, who you've done in Pop Fly.
Oh yeah, no, those guys were incredible. In fact, I was going through some pictures of guys getting taken out, and I was looking at a picture, and I can't remember who it was, but it was an all-star game. It was an all-star game, and I think it was Dave Winfield was just taking somebody out. And so, when I play, I don't remember guys getting hurt a lot. I mean, I'm sure guys got spiked and had sore ankles, but it was a different ball game, especially for a second baseman who had his back to the runner who was getting ready to get taken out.
Daniel, as part of the fun of doing pop flies, like what Dale is talking about, is you can dip into different eras. Like you've done Babe Ruth, you've done 70s players like Stargell, and the 80s, and now Mike Trout. Do you like going in and out of eras as you please?
Yeah, it's fun because the way I look at it, you take the baseball out of baseball, and you still have this long 100-plus-year-old storyline of this soap opera that is baseball. There's stories, there's eras, there's underdogs and heroes and villains all throughout the eras. It's just all kind of one continuous storyline. So it's really fun to kind of just have this at my fingertips. Whole big long story of baseball, capital B baseball, and just find those interesting stories, interesting characters, and draw them out.
Wouldn't you say, Daniel, too, I was thinking about the old baseball cards. There was a certain comic book, to me, I'm talking about really old, like I don't know what decade I'm talking about, but the colors were, the ones that were just kind of created, you could tell they were kind of a photograph, but they were enhanced. Mm-hmm. I just think what you're doing really lends well to just kind of throwing back some of these images, taking guys like me and making these images. I don't know, just retro or whatever you want to call it. But I think baseball cards and baseball art is really unique in sports. Maybe it's because we started cards, so long ago. It just has a real. I think baseball's got a real interesting visual history. Mm-hmm. One of my favorite books, and all my stuff behind my phone here is in boxes, but is The Art of Baseball. I don't remember even when I bought it, 25 years ago or something. And it's a great book and just shows some fantastic images of people's interpretation of the game.
That's awesome.
Daniel, you're getting asked to tip your hand on what are some upcoming players that we might be able to be excited to see.
I usually don't get that. What's that? Chipper?
Chipper.
Well, Dale says Chipper, so then I will do Chipper.
You go.
One thing that I do like about this project too is that I can kind of oscillate between a Babe Ruth and 1 week and a Dan Quisenberry the next week. It's not just superstars. There's not that Quisenberry wasn't a superstar, but didn't kind of have the household name that a Hank Aaron or Babe Ruth might. And that's been really fun. So I have a couple in mind that are well known, and then some others that are certainly known, but maybe a little bit more off the beaten path.
How about, can you tip us off on an era?
I'm partial to the 80s. That's when I was a kid. That's where I feel like this project sings the best is kind of where it sits in that sweet spot of the 80s. So late 70s and 80s. So that's where a lot of my focus is. Obviously not all of it, because we've got Hank Aaron and Babe Ruth and whatnot, but certainly that's what I always come back to, is that era.
Yeah, and that is the apex of the big era. Even you guys mentioned TBS, the WCW wrestling era. It just screams bigger than life cartoon fun. That's what the 80s were. So
well, the 80s too. Just reminded me WGN Cubs, Daniel. So have you done any Cubs yet? I have done Mr. Cub. But, that's of course Ernie. Thanks. Yeah, but he's the only Cub that I will say this. You asked me to tip my hand, so there is another Cub coming. So. Good.
But and Evan, you spoke to like the larger than life thing aspect of the wrestling, and it's interesting too. I think about this project a lot in terms of wrestling as well, because wrestling almost is like a magnified version of baseball, because there are heroes, there are storylines, there are villains, there's heels, there's redemption, there's underdogs. It's only magnified in wrestling. But you still have those same sorts of characters and arcs in baseball, and just there's so much material to draw from.
Yeah.
So Daniel, are you when you say that, do you have some ideas to do other sports and wrestling, and are you gonna or?
It's on my mind. I know baseball the best, so it's when I sit down to think about what I'm going to do. This project is probably more thought than it is actually doing, like the drawing, because it's not just like I'm going to draw a picture, a decoration of a baseball player. I'm trying to think of a concept and a story to tell. And so I spend a lot of time just thinking and thinking. And so baseball is an easy place for me to go, just because I know it the best. If I were to go to hockey or NHL, totally open to doing it, but there's a learning curve. I have to learn the characters, learn those arcs. And
I see what you're saying. In fact, I think what's great, another thing that's great about your image is just not only the overall image, but like Dave Parker, I love the smoke that's coming up, and of course his nickname was the Cobra.
Yeah.
And the smoke forms the image of a cobra. I love that one. That one is incredible. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is Daniel, you can tell that you're just not kind of taking an image, and there's so much creativity going on. And then you have other, I can't really think of it off the top of my head, but you have little things, you know what I'm trying to say, like
little Easter eggs,
little Easter eggs. That's it. And so it is really, it just makes it so much more fun.
And those are some of my favorite details to add, is those little things that make it more than just like a decoration. Because I'm not really interested in doing decorations. I want to tell stories.
Right. That Dave Parker one just really hit me.
Thanks.
There's another guy that should be in the Hall of Fame.
I agree. It's funny how that one came about. I had just this image here for months, just this one in a black background.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, it looked like he should be in some kind of noir setting.
Yeah.
But all I had was that the story was not complete. But I had it for months just sitting there. And then I was working on another player, a player who was smoking, and when I was doing that player's smoke trails, it turned on the light for this piece that I had half finished months before, the Dave Parker, and so that was just the glue that I needed to tie that whole piece together. I never finished the first piece that I was smoking on. I just moved on right to that and finished that.
Yeah, those little extra detail and extra Easter eggs, like you call them, just I really enjoy those. I think those are great.
Thanks. They're fun.
Well, it shows the authenticity of the work, Daniel, that it's not just you're a talented artist who can make something look nice. There's a depth and an integrity to it. As something most of your fans are making notice right now is both of you, another string that ties you together is you're both very charitable, outward focused people. You're both very generous with your time, with your profits. Can each of you talk about why that's important and maybe where that comes from and why that's a value?
Well, I was just going to say, I think this comes from my parents' example, and I just kind of grew up thinking that, if you have an opportunity to help out, you do that. And so I think being an athlete, you have an opportunity to volunteer or do things that, I got asked all the time to do things while I was playing. And it was always an honor to be able to participate. And I think it'd be really interesting study nowadays. if you go back to when I played, I think Dave Winfield was the first one to have a foundation. So many players in all the sports have foundations. And I think it'd be an interesting study because I know we hear a lot of negative things sometimes about athletes and problems, but I would love to see how much money they generate through all that they do. I think it would be phenomenal to see what all athletes do. They have golf tournaments and auctions and I just thought of Derek Jeter's. I think his is called the Turn 2 Foundation. I mean, just some incredible stuff. So I think most players, recognize that they got a unique opportunity for a few years to give back.
It's very interesting as you speak. I'm thinking about kind of the responsibility of being parents, because my parents are sort of my example as well. My dad, both my parents. I don't want to just single out my dad, but my dad was very he went to different continents, different countries, building schools and churches and hospitals, whatever they needed there. And he would go with a full suitcase and come back with it empty, because he would just give away all the clothes as he would wear them, give them to the people there. And whether it was feast or famine for my family, they always were givers and always charitable. Always gave 10% to their church. Feast or famine. So, and my folks were quiet about it too. So it was very much just like, this is just something that you do. You are a human, and you have a responsibility to be a good human, and you do it, and you do it quietly. So it's been my joy, and it's been like one of the highlights of the project, doing as well as it has, is that it's opened a lot of doors in terms of just being able to give back, and it helps. I feel great doing it. People who purchase these also can feel great about doing it, knowing that what they purchase can go help make the world better than they found it.
Yeah. Well, that shines through with both of you, and I think the perfect illustration of that is Dale Murphy. You could have been tired that game, and you happened to take an extra couple of minutes to sign some balls, and look at the trajectory impact that it had on a young kid, and it fueled his artistic desire. And you guys wouldn't be talking or laughing right now if you hit in the dugout.
Yeah.
Oh,
thank you. Well, like I said, it's been fun to connect with Daniel and be friends with Daniel. Nancy and I just have really, really enjoyed it, and look forward to working together some more on future projects. I mean, we just really enjoy it. So when Daniel was sharing that story about the autograph thing, I was sweating it out because I was like, the odds of me signing that second game and the last game that I ever played in, I was like, oh, this story's not going to end well. But I'm glad it did.
I definitely wouldn't go around telling it if it didn't happen.
Yeah.
And then he snubbed me. Yeah.
2 times.
Okay, so let's recap. Dale is Hall of Fame bound. We've all decided that.
Thank you. I got to give you a vote, Evan. I got to give you a vote.
Go to dalemurphy.com, sign up for the all-fan exclusive experience. See a game at the new Brave Stadium in a way that you would never experience before. Daniel will be there, and so bring your pop flies and have him sign them. Go to popflyshop.com, and you only have 2 days to get this. Can you show the image one more time?
You got it.
The Upper Deck inspired reverse image one. This will be retired forever in 2 days.
2 days, Sunday at 3 p.m.
And then about weekly, there's new ones coming out. So stay connected there. Thank you guys so much for being accessible to your fans. And Dale, yes.
Yeah, I'm going to sign 3 of them, right, Daniel?
Yes. That's what I should have led with. So Dale is being super generous, and he's signing three pop flies, which will be given out randomly to 3 customers. So 3 people will open their pop flies to see an instant upgrade with Dale Murphy's signature on it.
And are you signing them normal, or are you doing the mirror practice?
Well, I'll probably sign them normal. I think Daniel's card is the only one I've signed in reverse.
1 out of 1. Let's keep that.
But
yeah.
I will. I do. I did this for the first cover Daniel did, the Power Alley one, and but I will consult with Daniel the color of pen I use and where I should sign it.
Well, thank you guys for being accessible to your fans and your community, and thanks for letting me be a part of the conversation.
Thanks, Evan. It was a lot of fun. Thanks, Daniel.
Thank you. Do you guys want to answer a couple questions before we go on the
Absolutely. If there's some questions out there.
So it's I'm scrolling through. Evan, if you see anything that jumps out at you.
I know someone asked earlier, is it odd for you, Dale Murphy, to have an artist depict you?
Well, it was really odd when I first started playing to see a baseball card of me, and then as I started playing to see some things pop up. But it's always, it's always been an honor to have someone depict me in some capacity. And as you can see behind me, this was a lot of fun, and I was so thankful that Daniel did this Power Alley poster. So I've always enjoyed those things, and have some favorites, of course, the Power Alley poster, and my this one's all the other poster that Nike did. My stickball poster with Doc Gooden was always a lot of fun. So whenever those kind of things happen, I'm just thankful to be a part of them.
I don't even know this exact scenario, so I'm going to read it word for word here. Did you get to touch the snake Glenn Hubbard posed with in 1984 for his Fleer card?
Did I touch that snake? No way. I knew that. I knew there was something going on after batting practice, and everybody was talking about it, and I think I saw that out there. I didn't know it was going to be a baseball card, but no, I didn't. I got it. I think as soon as I saw that thing, I ran into the clubhouse.
Oh, that's awesome.
That would be a good one, Daniel.
It's crossed my mind. I want to talk so bad about what I have in my mind, but I don't want to I don't want to set the scene for something that I don't end up doing. So
no, I got you.
You got a Jake the Snake something working in the background, Nate?
Good stuff. See if there's anything. Yeah, I've had several people ask, like, when are you going to do the Doc Gooden Dale Murphy Rivals comic book?
Oh, that'd be fun.
I just got to get Doc Gooden on board, and we're good.
Yeah. Well, let me know. I can get in touch with Doc. We'll talk later. That'd be fun. Right.
Well, I think the amount of attention you guys are getting means you have to do this again. Yeah.
Absolutely. Let's do it again, guys.
Daniel, are you up for doing this again?
Yeah. What are you guys doing tomorrow?
Awesome. Well, I want to thank everyone who showed up to engage and ask questions, or even just throw out comments. Some really insightful stuff there. Thank you, Dale Murphy, for carving out some time. And Daniel, thank you for your art and sharing it with us.
Go Braves.
Thanks, Evan. Thanks, Daniel.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.